What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna tackle a pretty big subject, but it's one that I've really connected to over the years. Today I'm gonna be talking about bullying. Uh, where to even begin? Um, guess I could give you a little backstory. Me, first of all, I was never really like a normal kid, I guess. I always had a tendency to like darker things, and because of that, I spent a lot of time alone. And I rarely had any friends. I probably had like two friends growing up, and even after I graduated from elementary, they just split, and I never talked to them again. Um, in high school, I carried it on. I kind of went the same route. I just took to myself. Of course, I developed a love for heavier music then, and that kind of started defining who I was and like my style. I found a certain style, and that made me feel comfortable with who I was. Just dressing in black, just band shirts, patches, combat boots, spiking my hair, shit like that. And I just got a lot of shit for it. I just got, uh, well, I almost got expelled due to getting a mohawk. I was in private school, and it was kind of like I just got like dirty looks constantly on the streets, and people didn't accept me for who I was, and I was okay with that. Honestly, I am now too. I don't really doesn't really bother me much. It doesn't phase me. I kind of laugh and intentionally look to make people weirded out. But I was bullied as a kid. Just because I became an easy target just for the mere fact that I was weird. That's the bottom line. I was weird and I didn't fit the norm. So, first of all, bullying. Everyone knows it's just fucking wrong. It's not right at all. And people don't understand or quite understand just how much of an effect it has on children. At an early age, it's instilled in our minds that we're not good enough for a certain girl, or we're not going to be accepted by people just because of the way we look. Our little faults. If we have a scar, kids are going to make fun of you for the scar. It's constant bombardment of negative thoughts. That's all it is. It's constant, and it's tough. It's tough being a kid. I know that. As I'm sure a lot of you know that. And it's even more tough when you're alone. It's that's all it is. It becomes a one person battle. It's you against the world. And I mean, if we look to like certain aspects of bullying that come into play here, we can really like figure out the source of the problem. But the problem is that no one really wants to fucking figure it out, or even stop it for that matter. I'm not talking about the kids who are bullied. Of course, they want to do something about it. Sorry for my cat. Um, the kids want to do something about it. They just don't know how. They can't, get their emotions out or expressions out. And they suffer because of that. And then they suffer because of the fact that no one will listen to them. If a kid goes to the principal crying and saying that a kid was bullying him or picking on her or something, it falls on the shoulders of the school environment to take care of it. And it's just wrong. I've seen it for myself. I was watching a documentary called Bully. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's on Netflix. I really recommend it. It's a really great documentary. But it really just shows just the ignorance and like the pure stupidity of fucking school systems, public and private. Doesn't really matter. But just the unwillingness to change things from the schools themselves, it's ridiculous. The fact that these kids come crying to them, and the school just says, "Oh well, okay." They sit the both of them down, both parties, and they tell them, "Oh, okay, well, you're gonna shake hands with him, and then it's gonna be over with." No, it's not. It's not gonna fucking go back to the way it was because of the pure fact that this kid just gets a slap on the wrist for fucking ruining this other kid's life. It's not right. And I really don't fucking think that's right at all. And if you do, there's something wrong with you. But the fucking the pure simple fact is that we need to get to the bottom of the root of what's going on in bullying. Because it doesn't, everyone becomes at fault. I look at the Columbine high school shootings as a perfect example of bullying gone right. As sad as that sounds, that's exactly what these bullies bring upon themselves. Because these kids, Eric and Dylan, these kids were alone. They had no one else to fucking listen to them. So what did they do? They figured, oh shit, well, there's no life past high school. There must not be because it's hell here. It must be hell out there. And they go and they fucking kill everyone. Like, they kill anyone that got in their way in the school. And they were aiming for, like, jocks and teachers and other students. It's ridiculous. It's wrong. The fact that everyone was wrong in that situation doesn't help the fact that, these kids... Well, it doesn't justify what these kids done. What these kids did. Excuse me. It's wrong. I mean, you have the parents that were being accused of not parenting right. There's only so much the parents have, they understand about their kids. There's not a lot that they understand. Because the parents of that time are different than the parents of now. Because now we have a newer generation growing up. We're used to bullying. So we know kind of like we're trying to get a handle on it and try to, stop it before it gets excessive. But back then you didn't have, the understanding that we do now. So like you can't blame the parents fully for not being in their children's lives. On the same note, you can't blame the teachers because the teachers can't control everything. They can't. There's such a wide, especially public schools. There's such a huge mass of students that they can't control every single one of them. So, you get also the bullies themselves, which is wrong. It's definitely wrong. But we have to look at what was causing the bully to fucking bully them. What made Eric and Dylan a target? What made them, because they were weird, because they dressed in black? That's bullshit. What the fuck was going on in the bully's life that he had to take that out on them? So no one is right in this situation. Everyone reacted wrong. And that just, it pisses me off. It's like you need to get to the bottom of what's going on to understand the fucking problem. And no one's willing to do that. And frankly, that gives me no hope for the future generations, because if they're going to grow up like that, that's really sad. And it's unfair. So, I encourage everyone who's gone through bullying to make the right decisions, to just think about, the consequences of your actions, every single one of you. I've been dealing with a situation recently that has just got me thinking, and I'm not an angel, I'm sure that I did something to piss this person off. I just don't know what it is. But bottom line is, I was in a band with 4 members. Bassist, guitarist, myself as a singer, and another person on drums. Well, the bassist, when we broke up, the band only lasted about 2 months. So when we broke up, the bassist, I guess, was just pissed off at me for some fucking reason. And he decides he's going to ride past my house at odd hours of the night, screaming, yelling out, "Joey, you're a faggot." yelling out at fucking midnight on like a weekday. They do it like on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. It's like, what the fuck do you have? What have I done to you to deserve that? You know, I can't understand his mindset. I really can't. And I know it was him because I know his voice anywhere, and plus I've seen him do it. Now, I know some of you know already, but in case you didn't know, I confronted this guy at a show I was at a concert, and I didn't know he was there, but I found out through a mutual friend. And yeah, I nearly went to jail. I know I nearly went to jail that night. There were 5 squad cars outside of the club because the Hells Angels were there that night, and they were watching the show and escorting the band. You know, I walked right up to him and I confronted him. I told him, you know, like, call me a faggot to my face. Do it. You know, I was looking for any reason to just fucking knock this guy out. And I couldn't. There was something, like, that was telling me, don't fucking do it. You're gonna go to jail tonight. You're gonna get arrested and you're gonna fucking spend time behind bars. So I walked away. And I did threaten him. I told him if he ever came past my house, I would find out where he lives, because that's not very hard. He lives near me. And I would bash his skull in. You know? And I'm not a fucking violent guy. I'm by no means necessary. I'm not a fucking violent guy at all. I really try to avoid confrontation as much as possible because I'm fed up with being angry. I'm done. I'm sick of it. So, a couple of weeks go by, and I'm walking to go and get my sister and myself some dinner from the burger joint down the street, and I'm walking, and as soon as I turn a corner, this car speeds past me, and I feel a fucking cup fly with, like, I guess it had water or some shit, I don't know. But it flew, and it had liquid in it and ice, and the cup hit me, and then all of a sudden I look up, I'm like, what the fuck? And I look up, and this guy has his head out the window, and he's flipping me off. And he's yelling, ha ha, you fucking faggot. And I just stood, I was like in pure shock that he would have the balls to do this. You know, and and immediately after it happened, I was just ready for blood. I was like, I'm going to find out where he lives tonight, and I'm going to go over there. Probably with the intentions of fucking seriously injuring him and putting him in the hospital. So, I called my friend immediately, who actually, his friend's brother lives with him, with the bully, so he could find out like that. So I called him and he doesn't answer. I call him twice and he doesn't answer. Then I think, shit, what am I doing? You know, this is kind of like what he wants me to do. So I called my dad and he talks me down. It makes a lot of sense, you know. I'm a young guy. I'm fucking 19 years old. I've got my whole life ahead of me, and if I go over there and do something, it's guaranteed the cops are going to be called. And I can't have a record. I can't. It'll ruin my life right now. And I know from experience from my friends that have done that personally, I know a lot of people that were spent in jail time because they hurt someone, you know. And I thought about it, and I was like I gotta calm down. So I go home, and my sister talks to me, and she calms me down, and I'm fuming. I'm just like, he has the nerve to keep doing this, and I was like, I never did anything wrong to him. And I know that now. I never did a single thing wrong. But I didn't do anything, and I thank my friend for not answering his phone, because if he had, I guarantee I would probably not be talking to you guys right now. So, with that story, my point is just try and make the right decisions. You know, just try and think things through before you act, and that goes for people everywhere, because your decisions not only affect yourself, but they affect everyone around you. And as far as what we can do to stop it, just talk. I mean, Jesus, it's not hard to just talk to someone and find out what's going on. If the bully, I get it. It's easier said than done just to talk. But really try and find out what's going on. And you'd be surprised sometimes. There's people that are out there that are just lonely and they just want to talk, but they hurt people out of that anger. So just, if anything, if you took anything from this, just learn to stop and think, and just, you know, try and live your own life. I mean, that's as much as that's as far as I can go with that. It's just, you know, it's just wrong that people have to suffer like this. But I mean, you know, you're not alone. I mean, I found people online that have helped me out through so much. I've thanked God for them, or whatever higher power you believe in. I just thank someone for introducing me to these people that have really, like, they've impacted my life a lot more than they think. So just try and talk. And parents, I beg you, please get involved with your children's lives. You know, if they're saying that something's wrong at school, you know, give them advice. Tell them, look, you gotta do the right thing. You gotta talk to this person and find out what's going on. If they don't want to talk, you take it to the teachers. If the teachers don't want to talk, then you step in yourselves. You tell them, look, we have no other options here, so I have to take care of it, obviously, myself. Whatever that entails, you know, so be it. But please, I encourage you to get involved, because you have no idea how much it means to children that you listen. So that's pretty much all I can say on that. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Sorry if I went off a little bit longer than expected. Probably did. Be sure to like this and leave a comment on what else you'd like me to talk about. And as far as, you know, more bullying stuff, I'm done talking about it. I pretty much touched everything I needed to. So, thank you guys, and take care.